that everyone will see you. Yeah, which is also something that I had going through my mind as I was playing. Because like, everyone is watching you. I mean, not everyone is watching me, but it's one of those things that you feel like everyone is watching you. Hey guys, and welcome to another video of mine. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for clicking into this video. So this video is literally just going to be about my experience and things that I've learned, particularly 5 things that I've learned from doing the UNISA competition. I did a few competitions before that, but this year, as of a few weeks ago, in August, I did the UNISA string competition, the national one, and it really was the biggest competition that I've ever done, like ever. So there are a lot of lessons that I learned from that, and I think a lot of lessons that will be very, very valuable to a lot of upcoming young performers and young string players, really, in South Africa specifically. But really, it helps anyone who is trying to up their performance game, anyone who's trying to do more competitions, and really just try and be a better performer. Okay, so let's get right into it. So, I have like a list of my notes here, so don't mind if I like look there now and then. I can't remember all this stuff sometimes. The first thing that I learned is that competitions, not like performances. People tell us all the time, I think I've heard it quite a few times, like, just treat it like a performance, just go there and just perform. Don't be aware of the fact that it's a competition, just like block that out. But the mere setting of the competition, the fact that you see the other contestants before you play, after your round, or before your round, the fact that there's a list and there's a schedule of people who they're expecting, the expectations of the judges or the jury, the fact that there is a jury in the audience, and knowing that it's like, for me, it's very hard not to know that it's a competition. And I think expecting myself to not feel bad or to feel good, knowing that it's a competition, actually confused me even more, because I expected to feel good and trick myself to think that it's a competition. I mean, to think that it's a performance. And when I was on stage, I was very, very cognizant of the fact that it's not just a performance. Like, I'm performing, yes, but after me in a few minutes, there'll be someone else playing almost the exact same stuff. And then before me, there was someone else. And you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that makes you very aware of the fact that this is a competition. The jury members in the audience are sitting with scores, literally listening to you as you play. They're looking at what you're playing, looking to see if you're playing all the right things. It's hard not to think that it's a competition when you know all of those things. So I do regret, not, yeah, maybe regret a bit that I didn't enjoy that experience. The experience I enjoyed, but not necessarily all of the performances, because I was just very aware that it was a competition and that I was being compared to someone else. Yeah. The second thing that I learned is that competitions are not always a bad thing. Competitions are sometimes a good thing, really. Especially for me, I think I've heard a lot of people kind of bashing competitions and saying that, oh, like, music is not competition, which is very true, which I agree with, really. But there's something about, especially if you want to get to a really high level of performance, there's something about being in a place or in an environment where everyone else is good. You know what I mean? Like, being in an environment where everyone has brought their A game. When you're in that environment, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing else that replaces that. And I think being in a competition for me really heightened that, because I came from an environment where the standard wasn't that high, to be very honest. And I was maybe one of the better players. So as one of the better players, you start to get a little bit kind of comfortable, you know, and start to think, okay, yeah, I guess I'm not in a bad place, but I mean, I guess I'm better than so and so. And I mean, we all think like that now and then, but it's not very healthy actually. But it actually it kept me in that same place, so I didn't move forward. I didn't progress as fast as I would have liked to. But as soon as I got to the competition, everyone was good. You know, you're not the fish. You're not the big fish anymore. Um, you're one of many big fishes. So that was something that was very. It could have been very intimidating, I think, and made me feel very just like nervous and insecure about myself. But to be honest, I think the healthier approach, which is actually like thank goodness the approach that I took was that I couldn't get to compare notes with these people. Some of these people are really people that I had looked up to for the longest time. Um, you know, some of them have studied abroad, and I had never really studied abroad. I did some master classes and stuff, but I never studied really. But yeah, it was really nice to just actually just see them, to be around them, to ask them, how did you do this? And how, you know, to really compare notes, to just see like how have you gotten this far in your career or in your playing? What am I doing wrong? I actually asked some of them for feedback. I don't know if everyone would actually do that, but it's not illegal, you know? Ask the jury members, ask some of the other contestants that you trust for feedback about each other's playing. You know, it was recorded, the rounds were recorded, so people could still watch back some of the stuff, actually all of the stuff. So I asked some of the people, I was like, you listen to me, yeah? Since you listen to me, could you please give me some feedback that you think I could really need and could improve from? And that's exactly what they did. And that helped me, you know? That helped me a lot. So that's another thing that I learned slash realized. Competitions are intense, you know? And I had done like a few smaller competitions before that, but the UNISA, the UNISA national competition, at least for me, I know for some of the other contestants it was very intense as well, but it was very, very intense. So I'm saying this because if you're not someone who necessarily can put up with that kind of pressure, maybe it's not the thing for you. But I'm someone who thrives under pressure. And yeah, it was just when I meant intense, it was competing against really good people from really around South Africa. The amount of repertoire that you have to learn, which is a lot. And the fact that when you're choosing competition rep, you have to choose repertoire that you're obviously comfortable with to some degree, but also repertoire that is showcasing something. You know, you can't choose the easiest and the most beautiful music. Not to say really that any music is super easy, but it has to be music that shows off your capabilities as a cellist or as a violinist, or you know. So you had to choose, you know, standard repertoire that is gonna show something, which is usually difficult. You're surrounded by really good players from around the country. And what was the other one? I forgot what that was. um, give me seconds. The fact that you're surrounded by really good people, the demanding repertoire, and the fact that there's just a lot of repertoire to get through. And only later on we were actually like informed that the competition would be recorded. So You know, if you're someone who's self-conscious, that will get to you as well. Like the fact that it's recorded and it's live streamed, that everyone will see you. Yeah, which is also something that I had going through my mind as I was playing. Because like, you know, everyone is watching you. I mean, not everyone is watching you, but it's like, it's one of those things that you feel like everyone is watching you. Um, Number 4, competitions are a great way to meet people, meet new people that you had never met before, never been exposed to. In that way, you create contacts. And I don't want to say it in the kind of cliche and clinical way that maybe we have kind of like associated that word with, but you meet people that some of them that you've heard of, some of them you haven't heard of, and that, you know, through that journey of experiencing this really intense competition together, you can really get to know the people, and they can open up to you about their experience and their journey, and so can you. And through that, you can form really, really meaningful connections that you can actually, you know, those connections can lead to real friendships that can last way beyond after the competition. Number 5, focus on you. Okay. I know that sounds a little bit, but since it's competition, focus on you. You know, looking at other people, something that I did, which is not something necessarily that I'm like, I don't know, like pushing off on anyone else, is that I didn't watch everyone else's rounds until after I was eliminated. So I made it to the semifinal, but I didn't watch anyone else's stuff until after I made it to the semifinal. So the reason that I did that is I know that maybe if I watch people's things, like when I say people's things, I mean people's rounds, their performances. If I were to do that, then sometimes that could get in my head. That could make me nervous. That could make me start to overthink things. You know, and then it's just this downward spiral from there. But just focus on you, you know, focus on what you have to do, focus on being your best, and focus on competing against yourself, really. Yeah, I think that's the number one thing. I mean, it's the last one, but it's really the first one. Just focus on you. Focus on why you're doing this competition. Whether it's to win money, whether it's to up your playing, which was a really a good reason for me. It would have been nice to win money. Well, the grand prize, I did win money, which was nice. Yay! But really, it was just to have something to work towards after my bachelor's degree in Stellenbosch. But also, it was a nice place to be around really good people and to kind of see what the standard is, and to compare notes with them and see how far I was, to know how much further I have to go to get to where they are. Really, so just focus on you and focus on why you are there. If your intentions for being there are pure, I think you'll enjoy the experience. Having said that, Pretoria was really lovely, and yeah, I posted a few pictures on my Instagram. You'll find the handle somewhere down here. But yeah, that's this. I think that just brings to a close very naturally this video. I didn't want it to be too long, but I just wanted to share my experience with you guys that I had in this specific competition, the UNISA string national competition. So yeah, if this helped you, please share this with someone, another performer that you know, someone who's about to enter into a competition of any kind, I guess. Yeah, if this helped you, please also like. That also helps me a lot. That helps YouTube to know that you guys like my content, and that helps me to know that I should try to create more. If you have any video ideas, I would really appreciate if you just left them down in the comment section below. Yeah, and that's it for me. See you in the next one.